there's very easy ways to do copy tree, if somebody wants to do that. So I that lends me down the road of I don't know that he really wants to because it isn't difficult.
Well, this is what I don't understand because I have been messaging with him back and forth, and he has said that he wants to, and said that he's working on it, and said that we will have a copy bot. And the fact that for whatever reason that wasn't determined in advance, one is a problem. Two, the fact that that they can't figure out how to do that. Three, or if Jay even changed his mind, he needs to say he changed his mind and he doesn't want to do a copy bot. But for all that, that's a I have a problem with that because there here's the thing. Yeah, there are ways to have, and if the because you think about it, like if they in the beginning when they first built this system, they were going to separate them. They were going to have them, different subscription services,
You there?
different
Yep.
amounts, and you could subscribe to this, subscribe to that, subscribe to the J Copybot. Now, I would think that the people who subscribe to the J Copybot would be okay with whatever wins, whatever losses, whatever. Even if he loses every single trade, they were paying to take that risk. That's what they expected at whatever leverage that Jay the trades at. Now, and so it is. And I thought about it, and it's the more that things were happening, it seemed like Jay was the reason why he separated it completely from his group and separated completely from the his personal Discord is because he was concerned about cross liability. Because if something happened with a CFB bot and bot blew up, and all of a sudden people lose their money or something like that, they're going to be looking at Jay. And so I think so. There was a liability issue there.
Did you see that thing I posted in general about the how we were supposed to get the subscription included, like for the Patreon?
No.
So this was back 3/15/22. Jason Casper said that we were gonna get the VIP Discord included in the bot when they quote unquote full launch.
Yeah,
And then
I
I was searching through stuff, and then I messaged one of the admins about it. And then they said, "Oh, we decided against this." But it was up in their FAQ for 6 months straight. And then on the first, like when I messaged them about it, they deleted it from FAQ, and then you can see Switch posted it in FAQ. Does becoming a CFB member give me full access to the Discord? And they said no. But it was originally the truth for 6 months straight until the 1st of September. And then I was totally ghosted for 15 days. And I still have not heard back from anyone because they said Jay was going to contact me about it. They just never did. So we were supposed to be getting that Patreon Discord included with our subscription.
Yeah,
and they sneaky deleted it because if you search back, like when Jason Casper said this, those messages are gone. Because I said earlier in chat that Jason only posted 21 times in the entire history of this Discord. And now if you search, it's 20 or something like that, because they deleted the messages where he said that from 6 months ago, where he promised that we'd get the $45 a month subscription. So there's been a lot of weird stuff going on.
What date did you write that? Because I'm actually looking at your messages. What date was that again?
For what?
You said that if you look at the date that you posted in the chat.
It was in general chat at 2:20 p.m.
Oh, today.
Yeah, I brought it up to a mod like 2 weeks ago because I wanted to like get this sorted out, like not tell everyone that hey, we were being scammed, whatever. Maybe we'd get it included or something. They'd be nice, whatever. But I was just totally ignored. So
yeah,
I have screenshots from one of the mods I talked to. I have from Cheech, from Switch, all about this, all messages that were sent about this, and the sneaky deletes, and then posting that. So we were all supposed to get the Discord included. And you know how they said, oh, just copy Jay's trades into the bot, whatever. But then the mods say, hey, it's totally separate service. It was supposed to be all one thing included in our subscription. So that would have saved $45 a month for me for a couple months. But hey.
Yeah, I know that you worked a bit on the back end in the construction of the development of the bot. Is that correct?
Me?
No, Woody.
Oh, Woody Lily's a moderator. You'd think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you want to know?
No, so I just want to know, like, what is what we're saying correct? I mean, were certain things announced, and then um, at a certain point, what was the process, and how did that? Uh, or if you could share anything about what happened, why it happened, I'd appreciate your input, because you kind of have been on the inside, and we just kind of want to have a better understanding of what happened.
As far as what was promised and what was said, I wasn't part of any of that. And what I would say is every step that's being taken is to protect the community because they care that much about it. Entering with $50 and a 1% stop loss or a 2% stop loss and scalping in that manner, you're golden. When you enter with a larger amount of money, there are bots, there are algorithms, data is sold, and you get stop hunted. And so at some point, that the whole strategy had to change. And if you notice, they're discontinuing it for right now because it just has to be looked at from a different aspect. Because
Now,
you're going to get stop hunted. The right amount of money, you're going to get stop hunted. That's how they make money. The exchanges sell that data. They sell that data and they hunt people down. And
with that.
and so it is for the
now the question is, when did they figure that out? Because my thought, they would have had 6-7 months to figure that out, and it feels like they're just figuring that out this week. Which
Talking with Cheech, I feel like that was probably figured out like maybe about a month ago when I started going AFK for work stuff.
I don't think you would actually figure out anything about this until you start having the load that they're having on it.
Yeah, I spoke to Jay directly, and that's what he was bringing up.
Yeah,
The very first time they went live with everybody, that's what happened.
Because that algorithm isn't going to pick up anything until we start pounding in trades like that. And then we start to see that algorithm kick in.
I mean, we could have some kind of hard-coded thing. So, for example, you can only use like 30K max or something like that.
I feel like that'd work.
well, you just have to go in with a completely different understanding of how it's going. You're not going to find a bot that can scalp with the amount of people we have, with the amount of money we're going in with, and having a 1% stop loss at 50x leverage. Those things are just not going to happen. So it just has to be looked at with a different lens and understood that. And it's, once again, it's not done. I've seen people in the thing that it's really ugly, like money grab and scam. It's not. It's being done, and we don't want people to lose money, and you don't want people to get wrecked. They really are doing it.
100%.
There's no way to do it other than just saying, look, it's got to be put on pause to protect people. People are going to get pissed off. We know that. People are going to get pissed off. You want to unsubscribe? That sucks.
So why doesn't this happen with everyone taking J trades?
How does Jay take trades? I mean, the way he does it, what's his stop loss? What's his risk appetite? How does he go about it?
Exactly.
And
Can't you just copy and paste that into here?
everybody has a different risk appetite, and then also, once again, algorithms, the data on the exchanges are sold to people with way deeper pockets, and it can really change the setting.
okay, let me ask you this. So what you're saying is that if all of our accounts copy Jay's trades precisely. As soon as he made a trade and set a stop loss, it was copied on our trades. What you're saying is that he would lose more trades. Is that what you're saying?
There's a possibility of it, yes. There's a
Okay.
possibility of a big player saying, hey, we had X amount of dollars just enter in. Are you interested in this data? They buy it and then they counter trade it.
So
Because the market maker behind the scenes has to have the right amount of money to go a certain way or the other. And if it can give them a big liquidity pool to take it even deeper if they were to stop that out. I mean,
I haven't personally seen like stop loss hunts for this bot, but if that's an issue, why don't you just have us quote unquote beta test it and see if that actually happens? Like why is it being stopped at 4 trades? Like why don't we just keep on running it a bit and with a massive disclaimer saying, "Hey, we think that we might get stop loss hunt. Be careful of your capital in this account." And we can actually see for ourselves if it does this or not.
I asked Chichako about that like a month ago, and he said they had already accounted for that and it was taken care of.
The Ukraine war may be over, that may be having to.
So,
Also, I
like,
did hear some talk that sounded good. It's maybe a little bit above my pay grade, but of trying to do it to where there's maybe like a third party server, and those stop losses and take profits aren't necessarily entered on the exchange side, because then the exchange can see it and sell it. Where if we have, even like something how we go through TradingView, and then the bot watches the data from TradingView and then makes decisions. If we take all of that off the exchange as much as possible, it gives them less data to go with. And who knows, maybe exchanges have ways to kind of mitigate that, because that's part of their value proposition, is selling our data to market makers. But
Well, you just
I
have
don't know,
leverage
that
a little
sounded
bit
like a
lower.
good idea.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm involved in a number of different copy bots right now, and I'm even involved in the Bybit copy bot, and it maxes out at sometimes some are 250 traders max, some are 500 traders max. I'm involved in a number of copy bots on Cornix. I'm in Telegram. Like I'm in, and some of these systems. The problem is that they don't have good traders. Now I'm wondering, this isn't a new problem. Every other copy bot system has to have about this. Now, why is it that they're able to continue to run their copybot service? And I haven't made enormous amounts of money, but I've made some money. And my question is, why couldn't they do the exact same thing here? I mean, even if we get stopped out, more frequently than usual. Like, the fact is that Jay's a good trader, and we invested in Jay, we expected, his decision making and his ability to sort of predict, and react to be better than all of ours combined. That's why when we heard that there was a copy bot that was copying his trades, that even if there was stop hunts, he's prepared for that. He's good at that. He knows, he expects swing failure patterns. So they're saying that, that they're all of a sudden, there's a lot of people get in at a certain level and that they're going to be stop hunted doesn't quite ring. It doesn't feel right to me, because it seems like that's already the way the market is. There's stop hunts every like that's the way the market is. So that's why I just don't understand why all these other copy trading systems work, and why we can't do the same thing here. I mean, I just don't understand that.
But do they work as well
as they would on their own?
yeah, and that's the aspect is, yes, they work, but like you said, you made some money, but not great money. The thing is you have a personal relationship with a lot of people in this community. You don't have that with Bybit. If Bybit screws you over, like you said, you just take that risk. They care more about the community. I'm not speaking for them. I'm just going off of what I've seen. I am not representing them. I'm not representing anybody of official status. I'm giving you my opinion.
And even if, like, when they give us the trades, because if you said in the announcement, they're gonna like streamline the trades that we can just copy into the bots. How is that different from the SSS taking a trade? Because if we're all taking the exact same setup and trade, just triggered through TradingView, how is that any different from the scalper? There's no difference. It doesn't make sense. And I want to know why an owner or admin isn't in this channel. Why they're just ignoring us. But that's for another
That and saying that you're getting a 25% rebate, that's really, really generous. But you get that rebate if you pay for a full price for the next 6 months is pretty insulting when it's not providing the service they
I want to get on there
promised
and
to
talk
begin with.
too, bro. Fucking pissed too.
I don't know, but there is something to this. As somebody who's been running the Schlong bot since its inception, back in June, I definitely saw the profit factor change when more people started using it. When it was only like 4 or 5 of us, it was on fire. The more people that got on it, I did see that the bot started to act weird.
Absolutely.
A lot of the aspects of traders reality and why it works so well is there's so many ways to trade their system that
It doesn't.
everybody's going a different way in a different style of trading, and that helps with that also.
I just this. Ugh.
Here's my opinion. It may lower the profitability, and maybe we have seen that, but it doesn't decrease the ability of the trader himself. And Jay has been able to trade through all markets at all different types and all down, sideways, stop hunts, and still been fairly successful, more successful than all of us. So I don't believe that he would not be able to adapt. And I don't, I hear what you're saying, Woody, but I don't feel like that's um, at the core of it. I think it has to be a liability issue, because Jay's a good trader, and even if Jay had $1 million or $2 million per trade, I know a few different traders that are, well, I'm not going to say any names, but that show their trades, show their accounts, show what they're doing, and it is. I think that good traders can still adapt to things we're afraid of, such as stop hunts and so forth. So this is why I think that it has to be a legal liability issue of some sort that he's afraid of, other than this us getting less profit. I mean, less profit is still profit, and and I think people just kind of wanted to make something towards their monthly fees, and it's unfortunate that the system itself has failed to do that, and the system that the only system that could do that apparently is the system that we the members are building, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, but I mean, exactly what it says. Discontinue until further notice, not do away with completely. And I think that's what people need to focus on. And I get it. If you're here for that sucks. But there's so many more things that the bot can do. But coming back, like what you said, how can they make that work? Well, that's not easy. There's a reason that McDonald's food is bad for you, because it's fast. I told you I was in IT forever, and I saw a sign once that said it. If you want it fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. And if you want it cheap and fat,
You want it good.
yeah, you're familiar with it. Yes, that is really what's being applied here. If you want it good, it's not going to be fast, and that's the end of it. Is you got to go back and do big boy due diligence is really what it's going to turn into.
Okay, but it hasn't been cheap. It hasn't been a short amount of time.
Yeah, and it's still way overpriced compared to other bots where you have unlimited bots.
Yeah, and I'm fine with like a little amount of money over time, like that's okay, because exponential growth is a thing. I'm fine with a few dollars here and there, and just keep it going while I try trading. I don't need an instant money maker here. Jay said it was going to be passive income for him. That's why I am here. Because he said word for word, it's going to be more like passive income for him. I don't want to make a crap ton of money at the start of it. I'm okay with that as long as I'm seeing progress. That's perfect for me. I don't want instant money. That's not a thing that can happen.
Here's my issue: is that they say, okay, it's not happening now, coming soon. So far, they have not been able to follow through with their word, and I don't know if it was an accident. Maybe they just didn't know. Maybe they didn't think about it. Okay, and I understand that with new businesses, there's stuff you don't know, but the challenge is that as consumers, we have to evaluate: will they keep their word in the future? Will they actually, or will they say 6 months from now, you know what, we tried, but we're not going to do it at all? I would like to hope so, but I can't. It's hard to rely on that unless they have a track record of sort of being reliable. And unfortunately, the track record is not the best. It's poor. That's bad. It's poor. And so I gosh, oh boy. So I want to trust what they're saying. It's just difficult because trust isn't just about the intention to do the right thing, but you also have to have the foresight to think about all the other things and the management capability to actually
Put out there. Just
yeah.
letting you know.
And
It seems like they're dangling a carrot, though, that doesn't even make sense when you really think about it. Like offering that rebate as long as you pay full price for 6 months. Well, maybe we do this in the future.
yeah,
It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
I think one thing that, again, going back to Jay, is he's built an entire community here for, and I don't have my J hat on but I'm looking at this as a business owner standpoint, and from a marketing standpoint, it would be very short-sighted of him to do something that would harm the revenue stream that he has from Patreon, from the courses, both the EXO and the,
which is why he didn't group them together.
Yeah, he put his name on the bot and doesn't use it, but he makes like 40 grand a month.
Through his charge portal, he
Patreon.
uses his website to charge us, though.
Yeah, but that's kind of my point, though, is that he's got a very large profitable revenue stream outside of this bot. So I would think that the probability for him to cut bait on the entirety of the bot is greater than betting on the come that, hey, we might get this fixed. Like, it would behoove him to just cut bait, and time heals all wounds. So in 6 months, people are gonna be like, yeah, I remember that sucked, but hey, look at all this good information we still have access to. My larger concern is losing access to the bot. Like, I look at Jay's trades and stuff, but I'm making, it doesn't matter, but I mean, I make a significant amount of money doing this every month, just based off of the strategies that are here and based off of his trades and looking at the charts and having the ability for something to fire the trades while I'm sleeping. That's golden. And then the
Can't you
community
do
on
that?
top of that is huge.
Can't you do that with something like 3 commas and get unlimited bots for $50 a month?
100%, no way in the world. I was on there for a year and a half. You could do maybe 3 questions tops. 3 commas can't support it. But that's the whole thing. Is like there were mistakes. Mistakes are made all the time in business. And what do? The best thing you can do. When's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago and right now. That's just is what it is. So you have to at some point go back to the drawing board and do what's right.
Like, if somebody came here to try and get rich very quickly with something that money, that doesn't happen, right? Like, I was talking to Dezo earlier about different strategies, right? Like, do you want a high D, want a low D, really high win that's only going to fire like 5 times in a week, or a bot that's going to fire 20 times, that's got a win rate of 90%? Like, which one do you have the appetite for? So there's a lot to learn here.
Exactly, and that's great points because there are winning bot strategies that fire 15 times a year. Would that make anybody happy? That's the thing. Like,
But
Would.
in order to make the bot itself make sense, you have to cover the cost of the bot. And if you have a very low win rate and the bot's $250, and you're starting with a small amount, I don't think anybody was looking to get rich quick, but like I think everybody was hoping to finally be successful. And I'm still stuck on the generous rebate. I just think it's BS, but that's me.
No, I did not expect to get rich. What I did expect was honesty from as much in transparency, and I don't feel like I got that.
Yeah, that is a massive issue. Like the transparency, I didn't know what was going on. It was just like silence for a week, and then say, "Hey, something's going on with the SSS bot, whatever." It's something, and I'd really appreciate it because I know there's multiple mods in here. If there's any way to get one of the owners in here so we can have a discussion, that would be
Yeah, like a live
beautiful.
discussion.
Like a live, because when have we had that? This is the first time I've seen this live chat this full. There's mod. Why can't we get one of them in? Have them explain it to us, because we're still in the dark. Who knows what's going on? I want to be able to talk to them.
I've invited Chico multiple times. I told him what the things we were discussing, and I thought it would be good to sort of have a town hall, so to speak, so everybody feels like they have some of their questions answered. And Chico has been too busy. He said he has stuff to do with his family, or he can't, and I understand that. But when you start a business, as anybody knows, starting a business is a 24/7 job. And that's what I haven't seen the dev team really do that in relation to their customers. In relation to building the backend, Orf Switch has worked his butt off. He's making as many changes as he can, and I get that. And but communicating with the customers was a serious breakdown.
But I also think if you expect a mod to come in here, you've got to give them, or not a mod, if you expect an owner to come in here, you've got to give them the opportunity to prepare as well. Because you wouldn't, like, you wouldn't walk, I wouldn't walk out on my shop floor because I've got three people pissed off and threatening to walk out. I wouldn't walk out there into a hostile crowd without being prepared for what may come. Especially from this standpoint. I mean, there's a lot on the line. Do we expect transparency? Sure.
But I mean,
But
I've been suggesting
we
something
also
like
need to
this.
give them the opportunity to prepare for any type of response, right? So I agree there should be a response, but is it possible to schedule like a town hall and say, hey, on this day, be here and get your ass in the seat and be ready for whatever questions may come. Great. But to have somebody just pop in and answer stuff off the seat of their pants when all three parties aren't there, you're going to get a lot of, I don't know, let me get back to you. Hey, I don't know my area. You're going to get a lot of that.
I mean, I feel
Oh,
like
you
they
brought
knew this was coming. Like,
that's a suggestion to both Jay and Chico to have a town hall,
Yep.
speak first, and then let the just members ask questions. I have made those specific suggestions because I thought that the group needed it for its survival. And
what was the response?
they were like, we'll consider it. Thank you for your suggestions, or like those types of things. It felt like, yes, we hear you, and I'm listening, and and we're talking with the group about what to do, that type of thing. But
for it, and I don't think it entirely needs the copy trading feature to be successful. But I know where I'm at looking at it, it still feels like it's a beta product. A lot of what makes this bot very useful, even if you're developing your own strategies, is the confirmations, and there's still not a lot of supported coins for that. So there's a lot of work that has to go in. And even I know for me personally, I've been botting for the last 8 months to a year on many platforms, and I tend to forward test my bots a lot before I really start putting any significant capital. But for the cost of the CFB, there's not a whole lot that you can just go to and and have something. So I think a lot of people were expecting, this was my expectation too, that the SSS bot would help offset the cost of it, because it's the most expensive bot by an order of magnitude that is out there. And now that isn't even an option. So there's one of two things. You either use it to manual trade, setups and slightly automate that, which that's not why most of us joined it. And they're really, I know me personally, the general strategies that have been in the group and personal ones have not been that productive. I'm actually at a loss with most of them.
So I guess my only comment to that would be you've got a really good point that since we're in the beta, and the beta is, I don't know what it's at today. When I joined it was 150 or 125, whatever it was. What can we expect once beta is done?
Yeah,
What will the cost of that bot be? Is it a $500 bot? Is it a $400 bot? Because that bar is already set pretty high. So,
well, I guess that's what I'm asking is, so I asked this in the chat. So without the SSS, it's a $188 bot. You're getting just a basic platform to test things that has some nifty features. What am I getting for $188? It really comes down to that, and that's what I think most people will compare it to. 3 commas and compare it to other things. What are you getting for $188 a month?
Yeah, we talked about that before you got here. I would challenge somebody to be able to do what you could do with this with 3 commas. I couldn't do it in a year and a half.
I mean, I have 2 other bots running, and I'm not going to say names and things, but I've got other bots, and one of them is actually a fully automated managed bot for a fraction of the CFB, and I'm up on all my other bots, and they are scripted. They have back-tested strategies that are Pine scripted that you can use to at least start to test and configure. So I would argue that there are other options that are more profitable, and that's what I'm comparing it to. So when I look at my other bots and I pay, a fraction, and they work, and I have back testing, I got all this testing, and now I've got the CFB, which is great potential, and could be the most profitable bot I possibly have, but it's going to take me months and months to really work out strategies that will function and be profitable. And I spent 5 hours a day working on the CFB and working on strategies and even Pine scripting and doing stuff. It's just not, compared to the other things, it's not even close for the cost.
And then that goes back to everybody's risk reward. I mean, you got to look at that, and that's a valid point.
Well, like if anyone on the chat can give me a profitable strategy, but I've done the DFMI multiple times. I've done 3-minute. The only strategy that is in the green as far as profitable over since I've started has been the Blood Diamond strat, and that's only been profitable since I've added some volume indicators to it. No other strat has been consistently profitable, and every other strat has been at a loss. So if there were strats that had back testing and you can do it, and again, that's what I'm comparing it to with other systems, that they say here's your strategy, here's your bot, this is kind of what you can expect, and then you can tweak it from here. We don't have that. We're all working great, and I think there's a lot of great work, but there's not one strategy that we can say, hey, here's the numbers on this. This is what it's like. This is what you can kind of expect, and we got to forward test this and make sure it's better. But that doesn't exist currently.
Well, I can tell you, Max Show, that I have asked every single contributor on this forum that has posted results and that have posted strategies. And I have asked them, are they in the green or the red, and what's their most profitable strategy? And you are right. Every single person I talked to was in the red. And there is one strategy on this group that is actually profitable. And what is sad is I bet you the developer team doesn't know about it, and neither does Jay or anybody running the group. And that's sad. And the one strategy is the DSE. Dezo has one group one strategy that is up 16% since he started it 3 weeks ago, and it's continued. So right now, that's the only one that's actually in the green. All the other strategies are in the red, and that has been concerning. But now you're telling me that the Blood Diamond, the 12-minute Blood Diamond, is actually in the green as well. I'd like to talk to you about that because I've been asking people for a profitable strategy, seeing what works for them, and no one has been able to give me one. So if that works. Yeah. Then that's great. That's great. I love to talk to
you. I stopped posting because I didn't want to get people wrecked because there were some strategies that that start off really good. You know, even the divergent strategy, which I've run those on 3 commas as well. And then, but then obviously, I think a lot of us quickly turned. You know, market conditions change, and all of a sudden they go in the red. The blood diamond one is one that was in the red for me until I made adjustments. But I've only been forward testing it for a few weeks, so I don't want anyone else to think that, oh, this is running great, and then get wrecked too. So I've been very, very cautious with posting that, and that's why I'm saying it takes months to really forward test strategies to see if they really, really work on a bot. You know,
I don't think there's one set it and forget it for any strategy.
well, I do have some, so they do exist, but I'm not talking about set
Really?
and forget. I'm talking about multiple strategies that you can forward test and know, oh, these are consistently profitable, you know, over the long term. You need months to figure that out, you know, like we're experiencing the divergent strategy. These are all great things, but we just don't have the forward testing, you know. We don't have the data. There's no P&L over a few months. There's no win-loss percentage. When you go to these Traders Landing and all these other YouTube channels, like they give you real data, and even that data is just the start, you know.
Makes sense.
And again, I love this team, and I think out of every system, even if this bot in the future cost $1,000 a month, this bot could probably totally be worth it. It's just there is not one thing that anyone can say, hey, if you do this, this is going to be profitable. In comparison, if you've done the Jay's VIP, you know, he's got all these strategies and they're all profitable, and you can manually trade them and it works because there's testing on it, there's validation, and you just got to have the same thing.
Now, let me ask you, Max Joe, you missed the conversation earlier when they were talking about the reasons that the SS bot and the A copy bot are not being launched. And they said that it has to do that when so many people copy a trade, that all of a sudden that there are algorithms that pick up on the volume, that pick up on the stops that are set, that all of a sudden the strategies become less profitable. Now, my question, my comment to that was, well, okay, if that essentially is what the J level trades are doing. That when we put in our levels, we copy the levels. We're putting our stops out there for algorithms to pick up. So that didn't feel like an adequate answer to me. But also at the same time, I like you have multiple bots running with that are profitable, that are not the best traders, but with other systems. And do you think that the biggest issue is having bots hunt for stops? Because if that were the case, how could all the other copy bots that run across the planet be functioning? And my thought is that I trust Jay's ability to trade to be able to handle all market conditions, even if those that are looking for swing trading patterns or stop hunts. And that was my feeling. But since you also have a number of different bots running, what is your opinion on that?
So I volume of definitely matters, but I think and I don't know because really don't know what's on the back end other than I know they run it on Kubernetes, and I think each bot that we have, and this is just my assumption, is running on a container or a pod in Kubernetes. So I think part of the issue with the SSS could be that their bot is triggering our bot, which then has to go and enter the trade. And there is a delay in that process. So I do have another fully automated bot that uses Alertatron groups, trading groups or alert groups. And that works differently because instead of having multiple bots in the mix, it has one bot that actually directly links to multiple API keys in Bybit. And so it signals the trade all at once. So in that group, everyone's getting pretty much the exact same entry, like down to the dollar. So it could be that the method that it's doing is part of the problem, because I kind of agree with you. I don't think that we have so much volume that it's causing an issue. There's no way that there's that many people on here with that big of accounts where the SSS just is going to, you know, cause an issue, like especially on like Bitcoin, right? You know,
That's my feeling. Yeah.
there's a lot more volume in groups like Chart Champions and even Jay's VIP. I guarantee there's a lot more margin in larger positions even going in those than in our
And why
SSS.
why can't we turn it
Sorry
back
to-
on to see if we do get stop loss hunted? Because we haven't had like almost any trades that have like been perfectly like set up without some wrong pair issue or anything. Why can't we just run it and say, hey, like this is testing for stop loss hunting, whatever. We use at your own risk, and see if we actually do get stop loss hunted. They threw in the towel after 4 or 5 trades. Like, yeah, I get
Very
this.
weird trades.
What
They
now?
could be running Tuesday through Thursday, New York Stock Exchange session only. There you go. Problem solved.
Chichaka
So like
about
in
the
in my
stop loss hunting at the beginning, and he said that they already had that taken care of.
Yeah, they were doing the some kind of deep stop loss as a so that's what they would see. Yeah, he
Kind of
was mentioning
virtual.
that.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, like when we manually trade, and granted, manual and bots are different, but I've got other bots that use ATR for stop loss, and sometimes my stop loss gets hit, but when the Pine scripted strategy I use, it accounts for that, and it's still profitable. So even though I had like a trade that just missed take profit, came all the way back down to stop loss, which was a little annoying. I should have watched it. But you know what? Overall, it's still up because the times it hits are bigger than the times it misses, and that's what it is. But when you don't have any kind of solid back test, like you don't know, like anytime you get stop loss hunted, you're going to be freaking out. Like, is this going to happen every time? Because you don't have the data.
So on some of those other bots that you can plug in APIs for any exchange you want, it's a little different because you could I use FTX and Binance and Bybit. And so you can choose whatever exchange you want for those trades to be taken on. The only downside that I see here is we're all taking the same trade on Bybit at the exact same time. And the only coin on Bybit that has the volume to even meet what we're trying to do is most likely BTC and ETH. Bybit is a smaller exchange. It does not have the daily volume of any of the big exchanges. So on Bybit, if you look at the test net, I know for a fact there are multiple users on the test net that are using their full $1 million account balance to enter trades. And if anybody has a balance remotely close to say even $10,000 and say it's 100 members of this group, if you leverage that to 10x, I mean, you're talking a $30 million position and they're all being taken out within a couple seconds of each other.
Well, but so I guess and that's a great point. I guess the question would really then be, what is the actual volume? Because we are kind of mentioning before, I don't know the percentage, but I would say the majority there's a lot of manual traders on Chart Champions and various groups, and they take, even in Jay's trades. I mean, so many people do, and I was in there. You're taking a lot of Jay's setups. So how would that not be an issue compared to the
So
SSS? What is the difference?
in my opinion, I take most of my J trades in FTX or Binance. I don't do it on Bybit. I like the other two platforms a little bit better. But when you compare the 24-hour daily volume of Bitcoin on Bybit, it ends up being on average around about $2 billion a day in a busy day on Bybit. Where on a slow day on FTX, that volume is in the neighborhood of $7 billion. And on Binance, that volume is upwards of $30 to $34 billion. So you're talking an exponential increase in the volumes on other platforms. So, I mean, the downside is if you're taking your J trades manually, you can take them on any part of this bot is that eventually they will release it for other platforms, which would kind of allow them to spread liquidity to multiple different exchanges or markets, which then makes it a hell of a lot easier to enter these trades.
$180, whatever it is, to try and build out strategies.
Yeah, I'm here.
Secret keys showing an API.
Ah!
Just minimize it.
You have failed
Yeah, I
the
think
security course.
Gotta go
most of
change
us
it.
that have been putting in work here do want to see the bot keep going, do see the potential, and do love aspects of it. I think with myself included, but most people, it just sounds like the argument is just the value proposition. So, I think so much stress can be mitigated by just adjusting price until the original value proposition is actually met.
Agreed. Like, even though, I mean, I'm one of the original beta testers. I'm in at a little bit lower price, and I mean, I'm happy to continue paying what I'm paying because of what the potential of this can and hopefully will be. If it's not there in 6 months, I might reassess. But for now, I'm happy with what I'm getting because it does allow me to do things that I haven't found in any other bot so far.
I'm in the same boat on that.
Agreed.
That in the community aspect too, and it sucks that so many of us are having to pick up that slack, but it's also amazing to see it happen. And when I ask myself what I can bring to the table more, I think personally it's just trying to streamline things. And like I mentioned with John earlier, like I don't know shit about back testing. Math is my worst subject, but hopefully as I learn it, my goal is to just create content around that to help other people who's in my predicament too, who's maybe not tech savvy enough to have that skill already, but wanting to either contribute for their own services or the good of others. And yeah, and then get more back testers of people able to do that grunt work. So that way our coders are able to keep doing what they're best at.
Yeah, I
Because really the
totally agree.
community
Like,
is the biggest value proposition to me at this point.
I have learned more, like I learned a lot through Jay's stuff, but even just being in this community, I've learned more about like different indicators and automated scripts and everything else than I've ever known in the past. It took some head down like yeah, but you're using market cipher as confirmations in your trades and everything else, correct?
Yeah, I think most of us would be, or at least
I mean, I
primarily.
am. Yeah.
But guys, something different. The dev team and Jason, they dropped the bomb today regarding the SSS bot and the J copy trade bot. So there's a lot of the disturbance in the force over here. How is it? Is there still a possibility for discussion on the community is in disturbance on this decision, and how can we make this? Is there a way to discuss how we can, maybe get the SS bot back on the table or something else, or somewhere in the middle? Because is that an option? Is that
It seems that
something to
they're
discuss?
reading the comments that everybody's leaving, and that's why they're making some of the decisions that they are making. But like all in all, the OG beta testers that are in here, like I mean, all of us had this bot for months, knowing that SSS wasn't even going to be an option for like the foreseeable future, and all of us were still here. And I think that's going to be the community that remains, and everybody who thought they were going to get an auto trading function or a copy bot that was going to do all their trading for them automatically are sadly going to be the ones who leave and give up the other things that are available in this community.
Dude,
Yeah,
that
I
was
know.
what
We
was
also are
said.
paying a
That's
different,
how we.
if we're on that beta tester price point, our whole value proposition and if things are worth it is different than someone that is paying the higher price tag. So once again, I
No,
think so
I
much of
get
it
it.
just
Yeah.
comes down to, because I'm part of that too, and I at the price I'm at, it hasn't scared me off yet. It's a little painful because so far I've lost money in total on the bots. So I'm paying money to lose money, but it's just as soon as we get things dialed in, myself personally and as a group and community, then I'm fully okay with that. So yeah, it's really just a price point for what we're getting.
Yeah,
Okay, but
and
again,
it's just a little disheartening to see like some of the newer members just like bashing everything else, like, oh, there's no profitable strategies, there's none of this, there's none of that. And I mean,
So
I can sit here and
show
tell
us
you
one.
firsthand,
Well,
if
it's
you
not
go to
posted.
any of the chats, it is posted. You just have to do a little bit of reading.
Well,
Like
listen,
if you go in
No, no,
any,
no.
say something else.
I have been through no one in this Discord has spent more time than I have. At most, you matched it. I have gone through almost every strategy, including buying Luxalgo. I have gone and put thousands of dollars and between 5 and 10 and 15 hours a day programming strategies from multiple coins across multiple pairs and even working on Pine script and everything. The only one that has worked for me has been the 12-minute blood diamond, and that was in the red until I added my own custom confirmations with like what we were talking about for volume. So I don't think it's fair to say we're bashing it because I have nothing but respect for the team. But again, for $188, which is the new price tag, I do not have an official strategy or any. I do not have any way that I can be profitable right now. And for the price tag, it's too expensive because I've got other things where I literally paid for a Pine scripted strategy that has back tested and forward tested results. I can see the P&L, I can see the win loss ratio, and I can plug that in, make it my own, and I don't even need an expensive bot. I can throw it on 3 commas or any bot system, and I can use it. And it's a flat fee. I bought the script, and now it's mine. So
understood, but like I can also tell you that there is back testing for a few of the strategies. DFMI has a back test strategy. All of Desroy's strategies have back testing abilities. I mean, so you can
Where's the
double
data?
check that.
Wait a minute.
There's
Wait
no
a minute. Wait a
data.
minute.
In
No.
those
No, no,
it's in those go
Wait a minute.
to custom
Chunky, hold
indicator
on.
channels,
Chunky, listen,
look
listen,
at the
listen.
pinned messages, and they're right there at the top of the page.
Chunky, listen, I have actually spoke to both. Wait a minute, I have actually spoke to both those individuals, both Dezo's on this group, and Scam's not on here. Okay, both of those. The only person that has a profitable strategy that I've spoken to, every single person that has contributed in the group, is actually Dezo, and that's Dezo's DSE strategy. He built that himself. Yep. Okay.
Yes,
now,
he did.
And now what I'm saying is that the majority of people don't even know what that strategy is. And the only reason I know that because I've actually asked every single person here. I've asked Maxtro, I've asked Dezo, I've asked, and so and that's part of the problem is that there is not a way for a newcomer to come in and pay $188 and be as profitable or profitable. And that's the first thing. But I don't want to get off course because finding a profitable strategy is a hit or miss thing. The biggest thing that I still have a gripe with is that they told us that a copy bot function would be available. They sold us on it, and then when the day after we signed up, they said it wasn't available, and that's wrong. That's my issue. Is that, and I don't know, and apparently, and I still would like an answer as to why that was the case. And some people there's been discussions of volume that still doesn't make sense because Bitcoin is a highly traded asset. And so I would like to know the answer to that before I continue to trust, everything else that's actually being said. Because I want to know, I want transparency. I want honesty. I want some humility, some humbleness. And that's my issue. I feel like I feel misled, and I feel like, and maybe it was by accident, but I still would like to know why they accidentally misled us, and what happened. And as opposed to saying, oh, someday in the future we'll eventually get it, because I know, and Jay said he wanted a copy bot to copy these trades. If it's a liability issue, that's okay to say that. If it's a volume issue, tell us. If it's a issue of that only we have to have a certain amount of leverage and you can only put max 30 grand or 10 grand or whatever in the account, tell us. So that way we can adapt and actually figure out, okay, how do we actually move forward? But right now, I don't feel like I'm getting any of that. And the only strategies that we have are strategies that have been built by the members themselves. And so that's my concern. That's my issue. And I don't know if there's a solution to that. But I just would like to hear from some of the developing team about why that was the case. I know we heard from Woody earlier, and I appreciate you, Woody, contributing. But now I think we have a few more people on here who were here from the beginning, and who understand what actually happened in building this bot. Because Jay said that there will be a bot that copies his trades. He didn't say manual inputs. He said copy his trades. And so, with other capabilities being available to copy trade, why I would just like to know what the dev team has to say about why that's not available.
And
Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
mean, you sound like a very level-headed individual. All of your points are valid. I mean, they do owe some sort of explanation. It's not going to change my opinion personally, but I can understand where you're coming from.
What? Hey guys, what does it matter if we copy it versus them just automatically putting it in? One of the big differences I see there is that if they continue to put it in, we can all see as a community that it's not working. That's what it seems like to me. Or the other thing that I think like is that either I guess maybe they're getting stop loss hunted, so the high leverage might be a problem.
we
I don't know,
discussed
but
that.
I just barely came in, and I've been in here since a beta tester, but I literally haven't even been able to afford a lot of things. I had to pick up another job and everything, so but I haven't put in the hours, obviously, but because I was thinking this bot was gonna work.
We discussed the possibility of it being them concerned about stop hunts, and stop hunts with SSS bot might make sense, and we understand that. But with BTC, there's market makers across the world that are doing stop hunts. That's the way the market is traded. That's the way the market works, and Jay is well aware of that, and Jay still trades profitably. And so that's why it has to be another reason. It can't just be volume, because that's just, there's, even if people put a $30 million trade on something, the fact is that that's the market, and yet you can still be profitable. So that's so we have explored that, and it doesn't seem to be that that's the specific issue.
The only reason I could see liquidity or volume to be an issue is that all of our trades are being inserted into one individual exchange. If it were being spread across multiple exchanges, you're right. BTC is such a huge asset, traded so much every day that it would be a drop in the bucket. But on one of the smallest exchanges that exist, and all of us entering the same trade at the same time, liquidity or volume is a major issue. I mean, because it just, when you add in the leverage and everything else, I mean, you could end up with a 10 to 15 million dollar position spread across 400 accounts.
And if that's the case, just tell us to limit the money in our accounts. We will gladly do so. If that's, they do that on Bybit. They limit the number of traders to 250 or 500. They limit the volume that you can actually put in there.
It's the same on the other bots that I have too. Like there's a max of 500 total person.
And
I'm pretty sure that could be hard coded, because if we can have minimum account balance, you can reverse that.
And I don't understand why they can't just. I said this a few times before. Why they can't just fire it up again to see if we're actually getting stop loss hunted? Because we had like one trade on an altcoin that kind of went well. We've never had like a nice BTC trade entered by the SSS. We don't know if it's going to get stop loss hunted.
I made a tiny bit of profit on that ETH trade. I mean, it was inverse. I know it was an accident, but glad they did it.
It feels like we're being gate kept from the SSS and the J copy trade, because all the trades have been messed up somehow, or not on a BTC pair. I don't understand why we can't just keep it running with an advisory. Say, hey, we're just testing stop loss hunting. Keep the money in there to a minimal, or they can reduce the accounts, like the account percentage and stuff. Why does that have to be discontinued now, when we haven't had like real data and evidence to everyone who's subscribed to this that we are being stop loss hunted, that it is going to be an issue with how much volume we're putting in, because we don't know. Unless I don't have evidence of it.
Yeah, you know, we're all in agreement on the transparency issue here, but I just can't help but wonder if, you know, the dev team had a good idea to start with. It's working with a smaller sample size, and they ran across hurdles and issues that they didn't know or expect, and it's taking them longer to fix. Which, you know, once again, let us know, because informed consent, right? We can choose to go along with it and take our own risk tolerance. But yeah, I just feel like there's something that came up that they didn't expect, and they're probably not saying it yet.
Hey, Bearded, could you mute your mic, bro? Thanks.
What I think would be really nice is, please, if somebody has a profitable strategy that instead of, because like some of the guys I've seen in here that say they were profitable, but then they say, oh, well, I've been doing a mishmash of different bots, so I can't actually show you my P&L. That would be nice if somebody has just used one strategy and kept it on separate money, or like has a P&L, so they have like the actual data to show that that strategy worked. Because like
That's
Go ahead.
kind of the downside, because like I'm in that same boat. I've got like 4 to 5 different strategies that I use, and they're all profitable at different times. I can't say that they're all profitable all the time, because like DFMI does better in a downward market. That VTA strategy seems to do slightly better in like an uptrending market. And it's awesome. There's not really, as far as I know, any bot or algorithm on the planet that is good for everything across the board and still returning high percentages.
Well,
There's no
but I
way
keep
to get a
saying,
fully automated
I keep saying
trade.
that
You're
I've
still
got
going to
that.
have to
I
monitor it
literally
yourself.
have that. I literally have.
What kind of percentages are you earning on that bot?
On average, it's about one bot is about 15 to 20%, and the other bot is averaging about 19%. And the
Over
19%.
what time frame? A year?
Well, the 19% bot includes back testing data going back 3 years and forward testing data of 6 months.
Okay, so my only and like back testing is great, but I can also tell you that I have done back testing, and yeah, some things that look absolutely phenomenal in back testing don't prove out when you start to forward test it.
Well,
Because back
I'm up
testing, you're not
180%
necessarily monitoring
this year. I'm up 180% this year. I can give you my PN. I guess this is what I'm saying. I think some people are going. It's going back and forth. And it's like there's this. I can give some data. I can give forward testing data. I can give a live P&L. I can give back testing data. And back testing data, you're right, is not, past performance does not indicate future performance. However, back testing a strategy at least gives you, and I don't mean back testing it manually. I mean like a Pine scripted solid back test that you can look at and review individual trades and analyze. And that is very important for these things, and that
Agreed.
works. So
But like
when
when we were
people keep saying
looking
that
at
it's
that
not
live stream that Desroy was, that is exactly what he's doing. Is he is back testing the strategy and inputting different numbers into his current strategies to see what are the most profitable. So to say that none of these strategies are back tested seems a little misleading on my behalf.
no, show me the data. Give me the sheet that has the back testing data, the P&L, the win-loss percentage that is accurate, that is at least accurate to the back test. And there is that. That's all I'm saying. I haven't seen it. There is none. There's none for
You
the
go
SSS.
to the custom indicator channel and look at the pinned messages. You'll see an Excel spreadsheet from Desroy posted at the top of that pinned message. If you run any of his strategies, you can look in the channel and find everybody's individual setups, and you can back test it immediately to see what kind of returns it's showing in back testing. There's also one that exists for DFMI. I agree that one's a little bit harder to find. It does, like DFMI has been somewhat profitable if you let it run long term. It does, when it takes a loss, it takes a big loss, but it does make those gains back over time. It's not something, and what a lot of people do is when they see a loss, they shut it down. And that's honestly part of the issue. It's like, oh, I've had 15 great trades and one trade that wiped out 12 of those 15 and they shut it down. If you continue to let it run, yeah, you may have a bad trade, but overall it continues to take, even though they're small wins, they're still wins, and they'll eventually outweigh the losses that you receive.
Well, the
And that also
DFMI,
is
I was in
depending
the
on how you have your risk management set up and everything else.
there is no so the DFMI. I know a number of us got wrecked on it in that last downtrend. And I am following it. I'm very active in here, and the built-in strategy tester cannot mimic yet what the actual strategy is doing. So it is completely inaccurate. It may be useful and helpful, but it is not accurate. And the creator of it even said that, and he was still working on it. So like, yeah. So like I'll go back in and check a pinned comment on it, but I've been up and down every channel, and there is no, I have not personally seen yet, and I will check what you said, but I've not seen like true back-tested strategy data that can be used and modified. And if it is, then like really it should be front and center if it's that
There
solid.
is a ton of it. Well, and part of it is because they have us like cordon off all the individual strategies in separate channels, which is good because then you don't have one channel full of like 170 different strategies. But like if you go to the custom indicator channel, you'll see multiple people that have posted their back testing data, what their returns were percentage wise, and everything else. And like for DFMI, the way that I got it to be a little more profitable is I changed from 2 divergence required divergences to fire to 3 or 4 required divergences to fire, and that seemed to increase my gains rather well. It doesn't take as many trades, but I get less bad entries, and the trades it does take seem to be more profitable. But in an upward moving market, you'll get wrecked. Period.
Well, I got wrecked
mean,
in a
that
downward
strategy is
market.
not good. I've been knock on wood, I've been doing pretty good on the downside, but I mean, in an upward market, I got destroyed. It took, I mean, it probably lost $1,500 in 15 minutes. I mean, it was insane. It was real quick. But I'm also running it on like 10 separate altcoins and BTC and ETH and all of that.
Here's the challenge: is that right now the most profitable strategy, from what I understand, is Dezo's strategies, and he developed them himself. Which is great, but the issue that we now have, and Maxtro has brought this up, is that now we're paying $188 for a strategy that actually doesn't use the CFB confirmations. Dezo's strategy does it all on its own. And so the question, the reason why we initially were paying $200, $250 was because of Jay, really. And that now we are faced with a decision on whether we continue to pay $188 and hope for the best, or that we figure out how to become profitable with the only profitable strategy we have right now, which is Dezo. And so, and this is, and I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying that these are the facts, and I have voiced these specific facts to both Jay and to Chico in advance. I let them know, because this was something that was a concern, because if the group splits up, I lose contact with all you guys. And you guys are the value of this group. It's not the dev team, it's you guys. And so the thing is that, and I was trying to give them ideas on how to keep the core group together. Because I think we could build something amazing if we stay together. But right now, it's going to be difficult to keep a lot of the core people together at $188 for a beta test program. That's my issue, and I just wish that they just kind of just wrote it off and said, you know what, okay, we're right. This is a beta test. And at the end of the year, January, we'll start live, and this beta testing is free even for you guys. Like, that would be awesome, and everybody would stay, everybody would contribute, everybody would bust their ass to make this thing amazing. But when they're still sort of pricing it at a higher price point than any other bot in the industry, it makes it difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's difficult for people to continue. That's all.
Yeah, and in the end, that ends up, that's a personal decision. Like, I mean, I don't know if any devs are currently on this chat right now, but I mean, that's honestly a decision that they have to make of what they're willing to do.
Well, can I just say one thing?
Sure.
It can turn it off. What I find is why I get frustrated is I'm not asking you to do it my way, but if I hang up things that you then fold, you know, being stuck seeing it, and everyone's things were all not in the right place. How annoying it was when you can't find anything in the morning and like your stuff's in, and it's like, where's all my leggings gone? They're in your pajamas. It's frustrating. Not touch. What I did was fold your pajamas. You know, you fold. You fold the tea in rain, wait on a hanger, mixed it in with their pajamas. I was going to take that pile into his room and then hang up the clothes that were going to be. There's no point doing that. Yes, that's my method. Okay.
No, was that?
Put them all into one pile. Okay.
They talking to us or what?
Yeah, I think that maybe. I think you may have it on.
I
You
can't
may be talking to
understand
someone
you
else.
talking the
I don't think
accent.
that's us.
Yeah.
I understand the accent. I don't know.
You know, back to the
Yeah.
point
They're
you
talking
made
about
that,
holding
you know, you
piles
need
of
to leave the
clothes.
bot on for, you know, you might have a few losing trades, you leave it on for, you know,
One way taking
dozen,
part in
couple dozen trades, you know, we've seen like 4. So there's something, back to the point, maybe there's something we don't know.
I mean, I suspect that's the case. We've wargamed a lot of possibilities, and I just feel like they ran across something they didn't expect and didn't communicate it.
Sully, could you mute your mic, please? Sully, could you mute your mic, please?
Soli, please mute your mic. Soli, mute your mic.
You could also mute them from your end.
Yeah, I muted them.
Yeah,
but
I have a few people just muted.
Thank you.
I can't see the computer on mobile.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't mute him either. I'm on mobile.
that sounds quiet to me at the moment. Most
It's
everyone
better.
seems muted.
Yeah.
The last point that someone was making, I think they were, got bits and pieces of it, but it sounded like they were frustrated with trying to find things and maybe I'm translating here a little bit, but you know, I think it makes sense. There are a bunch of strategies in here, and it's really roll the dice, try something, and how do you know if it's going to work or not? And that was the other. I think that was just what that person was making.
Yeah, and I agree in general. It's hard to, you know, there's a lot of channels, they're, you know, somewhat descriptive, but still just the video, although they said they're going to address that, these lengthy videos are kind of worthless. They're not well planned out and, you know, just don't have the time to filter through them in general. And then trying to go through the strategies, you know, I've put in some time intermittently to try to copy a couple of these and worked on several of my own, but trying to just read through threads and decipher things once, you know, I don't have a better solution. So, you know, I'm kind of not offering much, but it'd be nice if something is decided upon or tested or well known and or being promoted, it would be nice to have that concisely documented or highlighted so people can find it.
I think that's an important point too, and there really should be a definition separation between what is kind of you know, here's a solid strategy that's got some backtesting data. This is a good one you can start using on your test account. You know, a lot of people are working with this, and you can kind of look at that data, and having good forward testing and back testing data to see, what are your losses in a row, what are your wins in a row, and that kind of gives you an expectation of what you can look for. And just what I've seen in other groups, like one of the ones where I bought a script from, you kind of go in there and there are like good solid standard settings that they kind of give you a few to start with. You can plug them in, you've got good data on it, you get pretty good pretty good profitability right away. I mean, even if you take a loss in your first trade, you have that expectation because on average how many loses it has. You can kind of mentally prepare for any of those contingencies, and then since you've already got this basic setup of this script going, you can then start working with altcoins and working with other strategies and really start building your own. But at least you're starting to get some return on your investment almost immediately, like literally within 30 minutes of buying the thing, and I think that's another thing I was looking for. I was looking for, hey, I don't care if Jay's trades or whatever covers my thing, because remember, it's Cheech, love Cheech, doing a great job, but we were expecting 7 to 10 trades per week, right? And even in one of the SSS bots, or the videos, somebody asked him, "Hey, if I have a $1,000 to $2,000 account, could this cover my fee?" And the answer was yes, it should. Or seven. Somebody says 7 to 21. I'm going on the low end. I was planning for 5. um, so I think that was what it was presented as, and now I don't have any way of, like, if I could get my fee covered for the month, I will sit here and keep trying to pine script and test strategies, and I'll work as hard as anybody to make this and work as a community, and we'll be rich in a year. That's the mentality I have. But I can't keep paying $188 while I'm trying to also help other people. That kind of, I'm all about helping people, but I gotta also help myself, and I've got other strategies I can use that are profitable today. So that's just my thought.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was, I've been studying TA. I'm essentially an investor or high time frame trader, but I wanted to trade more frequently. But I'm still working, and trading doesn't. I still need a job to pay my bills, so I can't really find the time that I feel I need to put into trading. So I do spend a lot of time, but I was hoping the J Trade copy would kind of cover my investment here or close to it, and just I could build confidence in that, and then from that, branch out. But it'd be nice to have that, do it for you. I don't know. I guess everyone knows what I'm saying. I can't find the right word, but it's, and to copy them manually, I'm happy to do that. I don't understand how that helps, but as opposed to automated, but I'd be happy to do that if they were published regularly in a timely manner, so that because a lot of times I'm sleeping or I get up or I miss a day and I come back and, I missed whoever was kind enough to be posting them. But if it's going to be done as a matter of a service on a regular basis, that would be helpful, and I could manually do it. But again, the price point for that is pretty high. If I were trading full time or a more active trader and made more of an income trading, I wouldn't mind paying a couple $100 a month, because it would just be a cost that my profits could cover, but they don't at this point. So I guess we're all in a similar boat there.
I appreciate everybody communicating. I'm going to drop. I think I don't think we can really cover anymore. I think kind of heard every side of it, and that's our kind of what we're thinking. So,
Hello, guys. Nice
I
to hear
just
more
sent
from them.
everybody a server invite for alternative. So if you're thinking about leaving or just want to discuss, so if you leave or whatever, then you can still hopefully be in touch with some of the people from the community in a way. So that's
Yeah, I'd like to salvage the community as best we can by doing something along those lines.
so
Do you
no
guys
message
hear me?
or anything. It's just alternative. That's why I sent out server invites.
Hello, hello.
From Coco Painter.
Can't hear you, Flash.
I actually have one. I think Crypto Tom is also in the chat here. I asked in the Discord. You know, there's been put a lot of work into the SSS bot, a lot of testing for the last couple of months. Maybe it's not working right now, but is it an idea to open source that work into a community thread so that the community can work further on the work already being done? Or is that an idea to talk to the devs about that?
Is Flashbang here? Do you guys hear me?
Yeah,
It was a
Flash.
little hard to understand. You know, I just think so much of this could be mitigated with a little bit more organization for information flow, right? Because most of us are working pretty hard at this. At bare minimum, spending a lot of our personal time just to keep up with the work of everyone. And Discord's great. I love it as a tool overall, but yeah, I think probably if we could come up with some kind of better solution for focusing people's attention to the cream, the crop, we'd save a lot of our personal time and stress because of it.
Guys, regarding the, I mean, I'm not part of the core team, so can't reply to many of the concerns here. But regarding the backtesting of strategies, I can tell you that we are working in some guidelines and best practices to put together a system, a step-by-step system to be able to document the strategies, the back testing in spreadsheets and all that stuff. So I think that's gonna be cool. I just wanted to comment on that because I heard like 2 or 3 people speaking about that matter.
And that's appreciated. I think that also further emphasizes the fact that this is a beta. This should not be there should not be much of a charge to it. When these things are live, that's when you start charging. It's just not ready.
Yeah, it to me, I think based on Jay's character, at least from YouTube, I don't think he's doing it on purpose. But to me, I kind of feel like I'm getting scammed yet again in the crypto community, and so.
Well, don't feel like that. Please don't feel like that because, despite some of the negativity and some of the issues here, I've traded, and I said personally, but I've traded with Jay in his VIP, and I know Jay really does care, and I believe the bot team also cares. I think this is a complicated thing, and I think it's they're learning as they go, and I think they just rushed getting this into production, whatever level they want to call it. It was released too soon, and all that stuff. I think that's it. You know.
Yeah, I totally agree, wise guy. This is wise sower, and yeah, I was one of the beta testers, and this thing was clearly not ready for prime time, and it should have stayed in beta mode. So I really, I do, along with you and the most of us here, think Jay is a man of quite a bit of integrity, and so I do think the community demanding something more than just like a discount is warranted because again, this thing's still in beta mode and it should not have been released the way it was.
Did they ever officially say they launched, or did they just
Yes.
update the price?
Oh yeah.
On
Oh,
Jay's
yeah.
birthday, August 8th, I believe.
Yeah, that's why I joined actually because I saw the first 2 videos from Jay's Discord and I said, oh, this new bot and they're just releasing it now. I was like, well, I'm gonna get on this because I'm in heavy bot mode now. So they did say it was released, which means in dev speak, I work in IT. Released means it's prime time, especially when you raise the price and you're charging for it. That means you're buying. So when I bought CFB, I bought it because they said because they set the expectation that the copy bot 7 to 21 trades per week is expected, and that it was purchased with the expectation that this was released. So just from that standpoint alone, I kind of feel like I should get my money back for that. And I will, whether they give it back to me or not. Honestly, I'm going to contact my credit card company to get that refund, and then whatever they decide to do, as a team and as a group, that's up to them.
Ooh, you're going straight to the credit card company?
No, I'll wait. I'll see what they say. First, but
because if you want to do that, then they get a notice from the credit card company saying there's a chargeback. So it's
absolutely, yeah. And
if you want to hit them in the
Jay,
wallet, there you go.
No, I just want my I've run a lot of businesses, so I've had a lot of scams and a lot of things. So I guess I've been down that road. Not that this is a scam. This is absolutely not a scam. But if something is just, we'll just see what comes out of it. So I'm just saying, one way or the other, I'm gonna get it back. Whether it's a discount, whether it's a this or that, we'll wait to see what the team is. I think they'll try and do the best thing for the community in general.
The thing that I don't quite understand is that, well, at this point I've been a beta tester and I've spent almost $1,000 on this. And so why can't they just keep going? Why do they have to stop unless they're just afraid that this is not actually going to work, and then people are actually going to lose money, and then it could turn into a lawsuit of some sort or something? Like,
well, I mean,
I think they ran into a technical issue. I think they ran into a technical issue, and that was the reason why. Because this has been in phases. First there was some talk about different things, but then remember recently they split the bot from SSS to J, so they clearly had an issue with something, and they wanted to separate the two mechanisms.
I think they just wanted us to be like calm down because it was getting really bad in chat. I think that
make
was
a technical. Well, I appreciate that, but I disagree. From a technical standpoint, you don't make a technical change on the back end for no reason. There was a technical reason why they split those things, and there are two distinct strategies with SSS and the JBot. So I believe that change was made for a technical reason. But that's just my opinion coming from a tech background.
And would that issue still persist in both bots?
But even if it was a technical decision, then why cancel both the options?
Exactly.
Both the SSS
because
they
were trying to salvage. They were trying to and this is just my opinion again. They were trying to salvage the thing to make copy trading still work, so that they could dynamically set J's levels and the SSS. And then after working with it, after splitting it, they realized they still had a bigger issue. So that's often what happens in IT. You run into one issue, and that one issue is a microcosm of a bigger issue. And so guess what? They just can both things because it's just not working.
No, well, ultimately, some transparency from the team would be nice in this case.
Yeah, everyone's on board with the transparency aspect. I'm always looking for solutions in this, and I think in the short term, start adding each other, especially anyone that's adding value. I mean, I know I come and go sporadically because of workload, but yeah, we all agree that so much of the value is in the community. And in the meantime, see what we can all bring to each other and bring to the table, just in case things do go south here, which I'm still optimistic, but redundancy is a good policy.
Well, I can tell you that I love the people, I love the group, I love the members, but I don't love being lied to. I don't love being misled, and I don't like the fact that they really haven't done much to actually make it better. A discount doesn't make things better. It actually gives you hope for the future. It's like hopium, but it doesn't actually make up for the fact that we were sold something that doesn't exist. We were sold a JBot that doesn't exist. We were sold an SSS bot that doesn't exist. And
why is it only for 6 months?
I know there are some members on here who are mods. If any of you guys have any input to the dev team, I would suggest that they actually either stop charging us going forward, or actually do some sort of a refund, or continue the beta testing, or of some sort. But for them to simply just say, here's $50 off, um, just isn't going to work, because I feel misled, and it maybe was an accident, but that means that there's a management issue, and until that management issue gets repaired or fixed or addressed, I cannot rely on anything that they say going forward. I can rely on the members because I trust the members, but right now the CFB team has not been forthcoming or transparent with me personally, and that's a concern. So I'm not. So I'm just saying that that's a suggestion that you should put into their ears if you have their attention. That's all I'm going to say.
And like I said before, you have to quote unquote to get the quote unquote rebate, you have to keep paying them for 6 months, which is ridiculous. Seems like an empty gesture to me.
Yeah, I kind of keep going back. So, okay, let's say I pay $188 for 6 months. What am I getting for $188? Right? I'm
A
getting the
25% rebate.
well, I mean, like I'm getting the ability to spend my time and build my own strategies. That's really what I get. I'm getting a system that allows for easier confirmations to be added. That's it. I can learn Pine Script strategies and do that, or buy Pine Script strategies that already have those things put together. So I mean, just again, just the comparison. What are you getting for what you're paying?
Right.
Now, just out of curiosity, does anybody know who the actual dev team is other than Borf and Chicago?
I don't.
Well, I think Borf is like 80% of the dev team right there, to be honest. And he did just have his first kid not too long ago. So like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, well, shit, congratulations for him. But that's really going to slow things up.
Okay, so it's basically Chicago, Borf, and Jay.
That's my assumption, right? I mean, I'm a user just like the rest of you guys, but just from my own observations.
Who are any of the professional traders, quote unquote, that they said they had?
Yeah, exactly. I don't even think Jay uses this at all.
No, like
Probably does.
I brought this up a little while ago. He only had some 20 messages in the entire history of this
19.
Discord.
19.
Well, it's 20 now since his announcement. It used to be 21. I told this story a little before, but since was it January, March, mid March, if you go to the general chat at around like 2:20 or something, I posted some screenshots. They said when this bot fully releases, everyone would be getting the VIP Discord, like the Jay's VIP Discord, included within their subscription. And that was the 21 messages. So, but they went back, and when I told the member of staff, they deleted that promise, and they deleted his messages. And then you could see when I brought it up to staff, because if you look at the FAQ thing, Switch said on the first that it doesn't give you access. But for 6 months we were promised it. But who knows what happened to that? But then they deleted Jay's messages from half a year ago about it. So it was 19. It was 21. Then it was 19. Now it's 20.
Yeah, and I have to say that felt very underhanded when they erased so many of our heartfelt comments that we wrote. There were some comments that I understand were spurring negativity or whatever, but there were some comments, such as mine, that I put a lot of heart and energy into that they just completely erased. And it's kind of like, well, as long as we erase it, then it doesn't exist, and that bothered me. That felt like they were trying to. It's just not right. And there are a lot of people who say, well, you're being negative. Well, you can't. If a person lies to you and then you complain about the lie, it's not the person complaining that's being negative. It's the lie in the first place that's negative, not the person complaining about it. So I don't. A lot of people say that we're being negative, and I don't believe that's the case. I think we're being constructive as long as our advice and suggestions are listened to then we actually can make this thing great. But if they're not listened to, then it's actually destructive to the CFB group, the CFB team. And that's the thing. But I just wanted to say that because I hate people say you're being negative. No. What happened first was being negative. I'm just responding and trying to figure out a way to make this thing better.
Yeah, someone said that to me a few weeks ago. I think my dad did when I returned a steak that was overcooked. You know, I know I'm not being negative. I just want my steak cooked right. You know.
Yeah.
Be careful with that one.
Hmm.
You ever seen the movie Waiting?
Oh, oh God, that was a long time ago.
I mean, if I can just say something, I heard all you guys talk. I mean, I appreciate all the feedback that we've given, the moderators. I really, really like this group and kind of what John and everybody's saying. It's really not. I don't know how to say this. It's the community, I guess, is working. As crappy as this is going to sound. At this point, I think it's for us to come together and build a profitable strategy. And if it works, we work on that together rather than coming up with like 20 different ones or 30 different ones that kind of half-ass work. Like, if we have the pro traders, if you guys want to work with me, I will custom code a Pine script. Like literally, tell me what you need. I will make it for you. I will make it work. I spit out 3 for you guys to mess around and play with. If that's not good, if the pro traders want to work with me, I will make it so it works. So all of CSB can actually use it. I mean, this is kind of I guess my shout out. Like, please let me know what you do. I will make it work somehow. I'll work with you.
The thought is, man, you're the real king.
Yeah.
Name it SSS Killer.
Per our conversation this morning and John as well, given my new open schedule, I have 10 hours a day to commit. I'm not the brightest bulb in the bunch, but if I have time to educate myself, there's no reason why I can't commit myself to helping out.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned that earlier, where it's just an organization.
Regarding organize the community to build moving forward, the guidelines and best practices to document the strategies and document the forward testing, etc., is all about that, about putting our minds together and put the data, write it down for people to have an easy way to check the data and how strategies are configured and building teams for, let's say, one can do the backtesting, another one can take care of the forward testing journaling, another one document the strategy. So that's what I'm writing down just to try to help the community to to bring people together and organize somehow the different strategies that already exist and future strategies, right? So
Yeah,
And I think that's great, and that'll work. But just to compare this to say other systems, where they already have say a handful of strategies that basically work, and then the community gets together and we make them better. We adapt them for altcoins. You're expanding it, but you're at least starting with a framework that's solid. It's not the community building the thing that's profitable from the very scratch. There's already at least a baseline that the community then rallies around and builds and makes better.
maybe the core team can release a couple of the strategies that are being used. I saw people asking for that. I don't know. From what I can do as a moderator and a community member is putting together these guidelines that I'm working on. And if people is willing to share and help, great. And if we can maybe ask the core team to share some of their strategies and, as you just said, improve them because there are always variants, right? As someone said, maybe one strategy works well for a ranging market, but not for an uptrend, and someone have an idea to add another confirmation, and you have a variant right there, right? So I kind of agree with you.
So yeah, Flashbang, I couldn't agree more on getting the documentation together to help people. Since I don't have that skill already, I don't know how useful I'd be there, but I really think my personal contribution is going to be learning. I want to get into content creation anyways, so get that together and start putting it in short, condensed video form for people. Because as someone mentioned before,
What
those
can
long
you
form videos are too much. So yeah, you get
do?
those guidelines together, and I'll do what I can to slap it in a video for people that learn better that way. And yeah, we'll see what we can come up with.
Sounds great. If anyone is interested in giving me feedback regarding these guidelines, I put them together with the feedback of other community members and what I saw in the different chats. So if someone is interested in give it a double check and give me feedback, is more than welcome. Just because in the general channel, like there is a lot of different stuff going on. So maybe the best thing you guys can do is to summarize your concerns, complaints, or whatever you expect from the core team in the feedback channel, and they will definitely check that and get back to you guys.
Let me put my 2 cents in here. I know I've spoken to a lot of you, a lot of DMs. I know I've spoken to a lot of the mods here to try to get y'all together to get something organized, just like Flashbang is laying out right here. We do need this community. This community is amazing. We have a great group of people here. I know we can make something out of this. As long as we get our organization together and have something where everyone can go and to clearly see and define strategies that are in progress. And I think that's the issue we're having here is that the dev team, I'm assuming, is 3 people at the moment, and they probably don't have the time to put in this. As a business owner myself, I understand it takes 24/7 efforts. And I don't think between Jay, Borf Switch, and Chichaco that they got that time to turn this around. So it's probably being put on us as a community, but we are paying the devs. We're not paying ourselves. That's the issue here.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think most people are on board with that.
And also, like Maxstro was saying before, and Smart John, yeah, there's not a clear, concise way right now to make money with this thing, paper, whatever the hell. And I can echo what Maxstro is saying. I know the bot he's talking about. I'm in that group as well. I also own that bot. And yeah, it is very clear and concise. The group is very organized. And that is something we probably need to be taking note of. That owner of that bot here among us, he's in this group. He is even the devs to help. But I guess the devs have told him no thank you. But at the same time, I go back and echo it again that I think the devs do not have the time to turn this around. I don't think they have the business mindset to turn this around on their own in due time, in the time that would alleviate all of this frustrations. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they have a lot more people on their team. Again, this is just assumptions. I don't know the team personally or anything like that. But for what I've seen and the delay of the responses, and I agree, as a business owner myself, you're going to need to really think about your responses. And as far as the copy trading stuff, I do believe there might be a liability issue with that. Because I don't believe it's the stop hunt issue. I don't. But yeah, I think as far as paying for this and the amount we're all paying, I don't think it's worth it if the community is doing the majority of the work. And that is, I think, where the impasse is coming. And I think that's where all the frustration is coming from. And I think that's what really needs to be dealt with head on here first.
Because like the general theme of the bot is to do less work, I guess is how it was put. Like you make your trading
Absolutely.
plans and you put them in the bot and you dust your hands off and you say done for the day. But it's becoming where we need to start like running our own strategies, making Excel spreadsheets, all that kind of stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's again where I keep going back and saying, like, I think as a community we have a great group of minds, and we can organize this together to make this an incredible bot. But the dev team, like Mastro already mentioned, the dev team should have been the ones that have laid out that foundation. It's their business, it's their bot. They should have laid that foundation out from the get go. And they, yeah, like everyone's already mentioned, they rushed it. They should not have. And I mentioned this in the SSS chat before they shut that and deleted it all down. They should not have made this public until they beta tested the SSS and copy features for months.
I mean, we
and
weren't
had
even
that
beta
forward data
testers.
tested.
Like, we were quote unquote beta testers, but we did nothing. Like, I would have loved to help. I was
Right.
here since the beginning.
Right.
Like, I wanted to help.
Absolutely.
They put this like diagram up of like what they wanted to accomplish. They were really, I don't know what you call it, but like it was like month 1 there's like 20 people, then month 2 there is 50 people, then it kept on going up until there was a full release date. But all those people really did nothing. Oh, the roadmap,
Yeah.
they call it.
But you
And I
were a
think-
beta tester. You were absolutely a beta tester. You may not have been involved in the way that you wanted to be involved, but this is still a beta, and there's other parameters and there's other data to be collected here other than just furthering the bot. I mean, there's a lot of data. How many people were joined this, and at what stage, and how much money are they willing to go to shell out, and for how long are they willing to shell it out? That's a portion of a beta. Like that's critical information from a business standpoint that they should be collecting, or at least should be looking at. So you were part of a beta, just not the one that you potentially thought you might be part of.
Well, when they state that, because when I joined in, I wasn't part of the official beta. I didn't even know it existed at that time. But when they said the SSS is being released, that means it's no longer in beta. When you're releasing something, when it's been released, and they're no longer calling it a beta, like it's released, it's no longer in beta. So I guess that's where I would differ on that slightly, just on the terminology.
I agree. I think both of y'all make good points, but again, we did not get to use the SSS or copy feature in beta. They should have beta tested those two features before the official release. It would have been a smaller group, smaller capital. They could have tested the theory of stop loss hunting then and there.
I think they still can. They still can test it.
They absolutely can.
They shut it down. I think there was like 5 or 4 trades. 2 of them were wrong pair. 2 of them, not everyone got the same trade. There wasn't enough bandwidth through the IP addresses, whatever. We had one trade on an altcoin that did well enough for like a first like decent trade. We haven't had a solid BTC trade off of it. Nothing. None of us have seen a stop loss from the SSS or the J copy trade bot. We haven't seen it, but we're being told like, oh, that's an issue. I'm not even sure why they're shutting it down, to be honest.
I got stopped out of that ETH trade the other day.
Was that the wrong pair?
I got entered in the trade and it fired just right, and I just missed my take profit by a little bit, and then it came right back down and slapped me.
Interesting. I just don't think there's enough data to completely shut down, because they built all this infrastructure around this. They were coding it in the back for a while. They made attempts, or what we were told, that they were back testing it. I just think it was a bit premature. You just say, hey, we're giving everyone 25% off, and we're putting a big disclaimer saying, hey, that we're testing for stop losses or something, and just run it still. Because I think they gave up well before, because there was like a week straight where there was just no news from the trades whatsoever. Like pretty sure they were thinking about just stopping this. But I feel like
I really
we could
suspect
still...
that they just had a hurdle that they didn't understand right at the same time as a bunch of life shit happened. Because I really don't think there's a whole lot of people on the dev team, right? So if 2 of the 3 people on the dev team have emergency, family emergencies, which is probably legit, and then that other third person has a newborn baby at the same time as they start running into issues they didn't expect. I mean, I really think the delay is because they think they can salvage it, and it's just taking longer than expected. And now it's causing upset within the community because people's time frame of expectations is different than the actuality.
So why don't they say that? Why do we have to speculate?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, everyone here is in agreement on that first course of action should be more transparency. But
Well, what actually is more worrisome is that they plug out the SSS bot and the auto trade bot just out of nothing. But what if, and it is always probably the risk of being in crypto or whatever. But what if we are doing 3 or 4 months of working on a trade system and it's actually working, and after 5 months they're going to say, well, this is not going to work for any of us anymore. The devs are going to stop. Jay is going to stop. So this whole bot is going to stop. That means that everybody has put in like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months of donated money every month, and they're going to plug the system because they just plug 2 main features of the bot, and so what's keeping them from plugging the complete system in a couple of months? And I know that's always a risk with every product you buy or you invest in, but this is I think something serious if you're going to spend 6 months of your time into this.
Always have a plan B.
yeah, I think most of us are on board with that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, plan C.
maybe plan B is to
And
ditch
it's
plan
yeah.
A and go for plan B. Good, that's a great answer. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I really think at this point they need to offer a deeper discount and act like we are still in beta because I think that's where we are, and I think it needs to be a price point on par with some of the working bots on the market at the point. I mean, going back to what Maxstro was talking about, he's right. I mean, I'm a part of that group that he was discussing that bot, and it's great. That's exactly what we need to start incorporating is some of these strategies where we can pine script them into TradingView back testing, which I know Dezo's doing, and that's great. He's badass. But damn, I mean, we're not paying Dezo. Maybe we should be. But it needs to be the dev team creating some of this as well. And that's where I would want to know a little bit more information is, okay, we put a stop to the SSS and copy, but what else can we do with this thing? What else is on the works with Chichaco and Borf Switch? What do they have in the works for us now that we're paying X amount of $188 or whatever it is? That's what I would want to know at this point. I do appreciate everyone in the group and the community. I appreciate Jay, Chichaco, everyone, and the message today. I do think they have the integrity to keep this going and to make it something great, but it needs to be fair. And it needs to be fair with the people and also respect the people's time that that they're using and taking out of their days to help further this bot and everything within it. Because it seems like the dev team is not doing that. And if they are, awesome. Let's hear it.
I mean, I'd love to know what they're doing with that, like tens of thousands to possibly even $100,000 a month they're getting. I want to know where that's going. What we're getting for that.
Right to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
think it would be
Into Jay's
interesting
farm.
I mean,
to see like
Kubernetes.
a bounty for the community members doing well, right? Because I'd love to see the community members that are contributing the most, especially our coders, our few precious coders, to get something more than just whatever they can make off the bot for themselves because they're helping out so many people.
Right.
Running
And
Kubernetes is not cheap because that's the platform they're running on. But at the same time, it is a small fraction. But it does take some management on that and stuff. So keep in mind there are hardware costs, but
Isn't it possible to run your own cluster off a bunch of Raspberry Pis?
that's no.
I
Well,
know, but you can, but it's not going to
no.
be. Yeah.
No. They're running it on AWS. That's the way to go. Cloud hosted. It's pay as you go. So yeah, no, they're doing it the right way. I was impressed that it was actually Kubernetes, because that is just the way to do it. That's modern and everything, but there are some costs to that, But generally, if it's up and running and pretty stable, hopefully they're not doing administration on it every day, other than maybe checking it and setting alerts. So just wanted to say that it's not free to run it but at the same time, it's probably a small percentage of the gains.
Yeah. Again, I just think going back to the same thing, and it'll be the last time I say it. I think we do need a little bit of more transparency. Number one, we all agree on that. We definitely need more organization in the Discord community so people can actually see what's going on, what strategies are in the works versus what has been back tested and forward tested, how to set them up. A short video is all we need, is a short video. Very simple. And dumb it down for the most idiot of people here. There's no shame in not knowing all this stuff yet. Everyone has somewhere to start, right? But there are other bots at a fraction of the cost right now that you get in, and within that same day or two to offer us a little bit more transparency, communication, organization, and what is in the works to justify the cost versus what else is out there.
Okay, but who is going to voice this to the team after this chat?
I have voiced this to the team. I've been in conversation with some of the mods over the past at least month. I've even volunteered my own time to help to organize this community, to organize the information, to reach out to a lot of the coders here, a lot of the people that have started the strategies, to help kind of defrag everything and kind of make it organized so it's easy digestible, easy to be seen. And just cut out all the fluff. Again, I don't want to put any names out there, but there's some other bots that have discords that are very clean, very well kept, and that's what we need. We need a clear intention, and we need a clear, and that's what I think that's what we're lacking here within the dev team, is that there's not a strong leadership. Someone needs to take the reins and steer this boat. But again, assumptions and opinions. They might be in the works of all this already, which I've talked to a few mods, and they are in the works of organizing the Discord to make everything easier and better. But that doesn't get us everything. It doesn't get the winning strategies. And again, I think Dezo is really onto something. He's obviously put a great deal of time into those indicator packages and Pine script backtesting strategies that are wonderful. And I think that's the direction we need to be going in. But it needs to be the dev team. They're the ones we're paying, right? They need to be laying the foundation down. It's their business. They're the ones reaping the profit. They need to be offering the value, not the community. The community needs to build upon the foundation of value offered by the product itself. And don't get me wrong, I'm a person here using some Autobots with this, but I am majorly using this for manually TA trades of J trades as well as my own TA. And it has been, I am in the green as far as my TA trades. And I guess the only other thing I can say about Autobots, the only ones I have had good success with is the 1BB strategy, the Bollinger Band strategy that Crypto Tom came up with. I did have good results with the blood diamond strategy at one point, but I turned it off. And that kind of echoes what Chunky was saying earlier, is when you do have good profits on a strategy and then it starts losing, you turn it off, but you don't give it enough time to actually do enough forward testing for it to come back around and make it that up. So it is very hard. Again, like Maxtro was saying, this is going to take probably 6 months of good forward testing to really come up with something solid. But as a team, I think we can do it together. And again, this bot has some incredible capabilities, and I think the opportunities are endless. It's a great starting point, but I think the dev team needs to be a little bit stronger, or maybe they need to hire some more people on to get this going in the right direction quicker before someone else takes it and runs with it and does it themselves.
I suggest you guys put the summary together in the feedback channel, and everyone can vote, like react to the post, so the core team can see that many people think the same. The summary that you just did, for example.
And another thing I would like to throw out there, I have a friend, one of my best friends, that is running a very, very, very profitable and has done amazing DeFi project. And one thing that they do to show his transparency in that project is have weekly AMAs, and it's with the dev team. And I think that's something that the dev team should start doing. I think that's something we all need to voice to them. Maybe we need to overload their DMs or overload the chats here and say, hey, we're demanding an AMA every Friday, or maybe once a month, bi-weekly, I don't care, to air some of this out, to talk some of it out. Because if we're just on two different sides and they're just listening to us without having a conversation, it's not going to go very far, as they have their own lives. And, you know, they have kids, they have their medical emergencies. We get it. That's life. But this is business. Business usually doesn't give a shit about life at the end of the day. So I think they need to have some conversations with all of us, and not just a message here and there, you know, very, very rarely. I think communication needs to be brought up to a better level. And I think an AMA or Ask Me Anything lives would be a great way to do that.
I know a few of us have suggested that over the course of the past few weeks. Just like every week or
Right.
something, bi-weekly, we all just jump in the live chat. It's really not that hard to do. That settles the community down. We gain knowledge.
Which card, Dad?
It's kind of brainless. I don't know why it hasn't been done.
Oh, my debit card? Yeah. I think it.
A lot of them have full-time jobs still.
Yes.
Mute your mic, debit card man.
Bro, the OPSEC of some people.
Oh, okay.
Hey, you can give the whole thing out if you want to. Give me the expiration date as well, please.
I believe so. Yeah, try that.
Is he going to pay for the buff for all of us?
I guess so. But yeah, I hear you, and I know a lot of us have probably have already voiced this about the AMAs, and hell, probably a lot of what's been talked about. So we need to figure out a way to flood the chats, flood the DMs until it gets done. I mean, I don't see any other way. We can reach out to the mods and they can do their thing, but I think it needs to be heard consistently.
What, honey?
Protest, if you will.
Okay, bye. Bye.
All right. It was good chatting, you guys. I'm out of here. Have a good weekend, all.
Bro, before you leave, you still working on Legion?
Oh my god. I believe me, man. I literally just pushed out my latest indicator today, and I got a big update coming. I posted in the channel. I'm moving a stop loss entry that's gonna 100% mimic CFB. Some corrections for I got no time, man. I'm just one guy. I work from 9 to 5. I got kids. I got a wife. I got no time, man. Eventually, yes, but not right now.
All right, I appreciate it though. If you need any help, just let me know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
what I told
and,
what I told everybody else earlier is like the only help I need is just back testing this crap. That's it. Back testing. If you got a winning strategy, post it on there. I don't know if myself or I think John said or I forgot who else. If you want to start collecting it, and I'll start posting a spreadsheet for everyone to use. I mean, that's really the only help. Get it, test it. If it works, post the results and the setup.
You did you make it available yet, or is it still private?
Yeah, AAA is available. It's running live right now. I posted I think 5 or 6 coins on there for my setup.
Wait, AAA is Legion?
No. AAA is only part of
Okay.
Legion. The DSC, VTA, and AA altogether is Legion.
Okay, cool.
I like I said, I'm having a hard time trying to combine them all.
All right, I'm
I'm
gonna
able
do
to
what I
backtest
did
as
for
much as
DSC.
possible as well.
And I'll just start collecting them.
AAA, and what was the next one you wanted me to test? VTA?
Whatever, man. Whatever you can find winning strategies on. I think I posted just my setups for VTA and AAA, but if you guys find like, like someone just asked me for Boldor if you have older alt pairs, I'm like, dude, I can't. I got no time to test them on every single pairs. I mean, if you guys want to do that, test them on other pairs, random pairs, Ape, FTM, whatever. Just test them if they're good. Just drop them in there, and I'll start collecting them and start posting on the spreadsheet for everyone else to use.
Cool. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I can help out backtesting too, Dezo. I've got my time's pretty flexible. Some weeks I'm covered up with my business, other weeks I'm dead. So I'm going to be working on this as much as I can, the DSE, VTA, AAA, and I'll be trying to also gather some other people here to create a team of back testers. Because so far what you've done, I think, is the closest thing we're going to get to something, incredibly great strategies and a group of them among many coins. I'm going to get with the mods here to try to organize that up as well.
Okay. I'm just FYI, if you guys, whoever has them currently, save it because the big update coming this weekend, it's probably gonna have to wipe your current settings. So just FYI, if you have them, save them somewhere so you don't lose them, because there's gonna be quite a lot of changes coming this weekend when I got time to push the updates.
Nice. Well, I definitely appreciate all your work, man. You've done some great work, and I think it's a great start to what's yet to come. I think actually there's been a few people that have been forward testing. I know I've forward tested a DSC that's have had 2 winning trades so far, so I'm good with it. And like I said, I'll be back testing the hell out of it across other coins deeply.
Sounds good. All right. See you, everyone. Have a good weekend. I'm out.
Later.
Yep. Okay, gentlemen.
All right, I think that about calls it for me too. Take care, everybody. See you around.
Later. I'm out too, guys. See y'all later. Good luck botting, trading. Peace.
Yeah, same. Add each other before we go. Get too distracted.